Hi there, this is Dana, and today I'm going to talk about what your doctor won't tell you about the food-health connection. And so there really is a significant connection between the foods and beverages we consume on a daily basis versus the condition of our health, of our mind, and how we are doing. And what I find really interesting, and this is probably the most crucial point of this entire video, is that typically regular physicians and specialists, when they are going into their education to become board certified and they have years and years of training and education in front of them, they usually opt out of nutrition classes. That while these nutrition seminars and different forms of education could be available for them to pursue, most physicians opt out of this training based on the fact that there's not great money in nutrition and natural wellness, and that realistically we have to follow the money trail. So we ask ourselves, where's the money trail? Where's it going? And so here's a little hint. The money trail is invasive procedures, surgeries, chemotherapy, radiation, and pharmaceutical drugs. Next, what your doctor may not tell you about the health and diet connection is that it can significantly impact our moods, our behaviors, our ability to function on a daily basis. It impacts our brain health, and it really does influence our well-being for good or for bad, depending on what we are consuming. Number 3 is, and this one's a no-brainer, but it has to be said, and the reason it has to be said is because we live in a society where there's a lot of advertisements and savvy marketing to make it look like everybody needs to be eating fast foods and junk foods and garbage. And there's a lot of great marketing out there that it puts this temptation in front of us, and some people have a very difficult time saying no. But in reality, if we eat crap, how can we feel like $1,000,000? So that's something we always have to keep in the back of our mind. If I want to improve my quality of life, if I want to reduce my pain levels and the different symptoms that are negative, how can I do this? And what a lot of people don't even realize, we have so much more control than what the medical community will ever tell you. You will never hear the medical community tell you that you have more power and that you could empower yourself with clean nutrition and with really having some healthy lifestyle changes that could positively put you on the pathway to healing. Another thing that we need to know that most doctors will not tell us about this health diet connection is that a healthy diet and clean nutrition trumps genetics. Let me repeat that. You can't outrun an unhealthy diet. And if we increase our healthy nutrition, we make these really positive improvements, we can actually improve our health regardless of genetics. Let's move on to number 4. Let's talk about sugar. Let's talk about sweets. We all love sweets, and truly, when you read the labels of ingredients of the foods and beverages that we consume on a daily basis, it's hard to get away from sugar. But the one sugar that we need to avoid is fructose. Another one is artificial sugar, such as aspartame. Do your own research, people. It will be eye-opening for you. But we need to keep in mind that sugar is addictive. Sugar does cause inflammation. And if you already have arthritis or any kind of neuralgia, any kind of fibromyalgia, autoimmune disorders, orthopedic conditions, or you are struggling with pain, sugar is not your friend. Sugar's not your friend, okay? So another thing we need to bring up too is antibiotics. Antibiotics, while there is some positive benefits, especially when we're fighting infections, we have to remember that there are negatives. And one negative with antibiotics is that it just wreaks havoc on our gut. Now, 80% of our gut health is within the digestive system. And there's a connection between your brain health and your gut health. So if we want to improve our memory and clarity and focus and mental health, we need to also think about our gut health, because there's a correlation between brain health and gut health. Next, let's move on to the food-mood connection. Do you ever eat something and you feel like it makes you irritable or super fatigued and tired, or maybe after eating some pasta, you feel just weary, tired, knocked out, kind of like a brain fog? Yeah, there's a correlation. So the foods we eat can greatly impact and influence our mental health. And so while we love pasta and while we love different foods, we may need to consider ways that we could improve our health and reduce the foods that cause us irritability, anger, depression, brain fog, and fatigue. Let's move on to number 7. Let's still talk about memory, because memory is vital and brain health is crucial, especially in this fast pace within our society. And so the one thing we need to understand is that when it comes to nutrition, our foods, our crops, the farming industry, they use a lot of pesticides, they use a lot of toxic ingredients, and we have to understand about these ingredients that they could actually deplete the vitamins, the nutrients, and the minerals of these foods that we're eating, including our vegetables and fruits. And so the end result is that we need to supplement. That supplementation is an important aspect. And I'm not asking you or telling you what to do, only you can determine what's best for you. But I'm speaking from experience, I'm speaking from my own health, that I've learned that we're not getting what we used to have. The vegetables today and the grains today, especially breads in the United States, are not like back in our grandparents' day or our ancestors' day. So what maybe God had made ancient years ago with bread and how it was a wonderful grain and it was healthy, it's no longer the same. So what we're getting today has a lot of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, and they're tainted with a lot of synthetic ingredients. Not to mention, as I said, our foods are missing vital nutrients, minerals, and vitamins, and that's why we need to supplement. If we consider our health and we consider what doctors may or may not tell us, what really disturbs me, and this is just personal now, is that over 10 years ago, when I was being tested for fibromyalgia, which is an autoimmune condition, never, not once, did any of these specialists test me for nutritional deficiencies, food allergies, or celiac disease. Now, celiac disease is when someone has a problem breaking down the gluten. Gluten is rye, barley, oats, and there's different forms of gluten and gluten derivatives. Wheat is a well-known gluten. Nevertheless, what I discovered was nobody tested me for nothing. And then when they said, hey, you need to take a 6-week fibromyalgia program, I agreed. Hey, sure, I'm open. I love education. I love to soak up knowledge. Okay, I went for it. I did it. Not once did they teach about nutrition. They talked about drugs, more drugs, and a little bit of psychology, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. So the lesson learned, we have to do our own research. We have to be our own advocates because our doctors may not tell us about nutrition and the connection to our mental health, to our pain levels, and we have to be our own cheerleader to seek out ways that are very realistic and doable, but ways that could enhance our overall health. Next is, there are some doctors that do talk about diet. There are some physicians that will talk about diet, but my concern is that most of them are still stuck in the past, like long time ago. I'm talking 20, 30, 40 years ago. These doctors, while they may say, hey, you need to improve your diet, what they aren't talking about is clean, pure, whole food. And so they are stuck on the inaccurate food pyramids. That isn't really helpful for you or me. We don't want to get inaccurate or outdated information. We want something credible. And that's why we have to become our own holistic nutritionist. And it's really at a place where we have to decide, is my health worth it? And when I started looking into my own health, and I have been through 10 years of sheer hell and back, to take back control over my health and my body and my mind, I reached a point, like this total light bulb moment, when I realized there is no price tag for health. That people could say every excuse in the book, I don't have the money and I am not near a garden. I don't have a garden and I'm not near the farmer's market and I can't afford organic, or I can't afford to eat vegan or plant-based, or I can't go gluten-free, I can't afford it. What I'm saying today is we can't put a price on vibrant health. It is such a passionate topic because I've discovered through my own rock bottom that I do have more control over what I'm eating, and I can decrease the inflammation. I can decrease and reduce those pain levels, and I can even help reduce the depression, the anxiety, and the ADHD symptoms by simply saying no to artificial colors, to artificial sweeteners, to GMOs, to gluten, and to a lot of foods that are just trash. They're toxic. And this really is an amazing transformation in which, while you may never have experienced it yourself, I really challenge you today to take a look at your diet, find doable ways to increase your health and to make some positive changes. Last, I want to say Dr. Michael Greger, here's his quote. The primary reason diseases tend to run in families may be that diets tend to run in families. So just because your family eats a certain way and for years and years and years they cook a certain way and have a certain lifestyle, you don't have to be reprogrammed. You don't have to be stuck. You don't have to maintain that status quo. You could step outside the box. You could do your research and you could take back control of your body and mind by promoting clean nutrition and making simple steps today. Feel free to check out my website at danaarcuri.com. Thank you, share, subscribe, and have a healthy day.